Shalom, shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and the glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Brachah. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and peace and blessing be multiplied on all you brethren, pushing this word in all sincerity and in truth, to the hopeful elect, 144,000, and the great multitude of men, women, and children that will receive mercy from the Lord in these last days. Shalom. I'm the brother Dama Agabar here with another lesson, Lord willing to edify through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, and I came across this article from Zero Hedge, which this to be a quick lesson straight to the point, right? And it says, these are the 10 busiest ports in the world by cargo traffic. All right, and immediately this made me think of Revelation, the 18th chapter, to show you just how true and real prophecy is. All right, and we know that as I'm reading in Revelation, the 18th chapter, you know, these 10 busiest ports in the world, you know, and it's only showing you the 10 busiest, all right? But you have a lot of other countries who have ports and, you know, who have business and traffic that's directly linked to them, you know, fornicating with this whore, America, Babylon the Great. All right. And it's just showing you the 10 busiest. And guess who's the 10 busiest ports in the world? They're all over there in Asia and China. You see, and this is why, you know, these are going to be some of the major nations that's going to wail and cry when they see the smoke and the burning of Babylon the Great, America. You know, because we hear all this talk about the BRICS nation and China is getting involved with BRICS and, you know, all of these countries ultimately trying to position themselves to get out of the dollar and trying to position themselves in this new financial, you know, safety net to where they could, you know, operate one with another and trade in each other's currencies and have gold-backed currencies. But one thing that these nations, you know is that once this petrodollar, once this financial system as we know it, which a lot of these countries are still linked to in a major way, you know, because a lot of these countries and a lot of these all these ports in these countries who are importers and exporters, a lot of their business and trade runs through Babylon the Great. It runs through America. Remember, even though America is on this way, is circling the drain, the dollar is getting weak, you still have a lot of these countries that rely on the dollar to do their business. America is still a consumer nation. People are still continuously buying these manufactured goods, these cheap goods out of these different countries, you know. And I work in the shipping industry, and trust me, where I work, we're busy as all hell, man. We're constantly getting, you know, talking about daily, we're getting 6,000 units, 6,000, you know what I mean, you know, 6,000, you know, TBUs a day, you know, trailer after trailer after trailer just coming in, just full of shit. And where do you think the majority of that shit is being manufactured and being shipped in and brought from? All over the world. Because remember, America is not a major manufacturing country anymore. They sold that away to the Chinese, which is why China is one of the busiest exporters and one of the main leaders and busiest ports for global trade flows, man. And you see, and this is why, you know, when we read Revelation, the 18th chapter, it says what it says. So I'm going to read some of this article. It says, in 2024, 9 of the world's 10 busiest ports are located in Asia, underscoring the eastward shift in global trade flows. Due to supply chain shifts and deeper integration, intra-regional trade within Asia has grown significantly. In the 90s, over 70% of Asian exports by value went beyond the region, with containers being shipped back mostly empty. By comparison, roughly 60% of exports in Asia are traded within the region today. This graphic via visual capitalist Dorothy Newfield shows the busiest ports in the world in 2024 based on data from Ship Technology. All right, and who's number one? The Port of Shanghai, China. It says 2023, 40 million. Number 2 is what? Port of Singapore. Number 3, Port of Ningbo, Zhujiang, China. Port of Shenzhen, China. Number 5 is China. Number 6 is South Korea. 7 South is China, and number 10 is the Netherlands, which these are the 10 most busiest. Now you have other countries that ship and do business as well, but who was the main recipient? Who has been given, you know, the ability to, you know, to be in charge of this industry is China, which was given to them by who? America, which is the so-called white man. See, the only reason China is, doing this well and operating the way that they're operating is because Esau gave them the power and the ability to do so. Remember, America, Esau decided to strip manufacturing here out of America and to give it to these third world countries because that they could make more money. They could, get goods, through slave labor, and to not pay you Americans working wages and good benefits and good jobs to create and manufacture all this shit, so that America could stay, on top of this, on stay on top of manufacturing. See, it says, as we can see, 7 out of the 10 busiest ports in the world are located in China, illustrating its central role in global manufacturing and trade. It says, since 2009, the country has been the largest exporter of goods in the world. And where is these shit being exported to? Babylon the Great, America, and other places around the world. But I guarantee you a huge majority of it is coming here to America. That's why you see that you keep hearing that stupid ass commercial and advertisements for Timo. Shop like a millionaire. Shop like a millionaire. Because where is Timo from? China, more than likely. And what are they selling you? Cheap fucking bullshit. Cheap ass, cheap manufactured goods that these American people are buying up daily, man. And it's all cheap crap, which is making these China a whole lot of money because they have been given the green light to be the leaders in exportation via the West. And it comes with, because we ultimately know, why these deals are being made behind closed doors. But as you can see, man, hey, prophecy is alive and well. It says the expansion and modernization of China's port network are pivotal to the Belt and Road Initiative. As a global infrastructure development strategy adopted by China in 2013, the BRI is aimed at expanding connectivity and trade between Asia. And one thing you have to understand is that the West America, the so-called white man Esau Edom, has given China the ability to do this. You see, if Esau didn't want China to have this, they would have never have had it. And I'm going to show you why. Show you that this is all prophecy, man. It says, and Africa through creating extensive networks of railways, energy pipelines, highways, and shipping routes. It says, standing at the second largest port globally, the Port of Singapore recorded 39 million TEUs in 2023. Each year, 130,000 vessels enter the port, which is connected to 600 ports across more than 120 countries worldwide. Not only that, 1,000 vessels are located at the port at any given time in the day. Beyond Asia, the port of Rotterdam in the Netherlands is the leading hub in Europe. With origins tracing back to the 15th century, the port spans about 40 kilometers, 25 miles long, and 10 kilometers, 6 miles wide. And this further proves that Babylon the Great can't be talking about the Vatican, man. Hey, because America is a huge port as well. America has a lot of ports here in the West as well. But they're allowing Asia to be the main hub of a lot of this shit. You see, it says with origins back. I read that. It says the Port of Rotterdam is working on autonomous shipping projects with several partners, allowing vessels to be operated remotely with the use of cameras and sensors serving as the ship's eyes and ears. But like I said, what do you think the majority of all of these manufactured goods and these shits are going? I said a lot of it is going to the West and other parts of the world. But ultimately, this is why scriptures say that these nations are going to lament for Babylon when it is destroyed. You think China is trying to, pull away from America and do its own thing, which it is to a certain extent. But one thing you have to understand is that, look, man, these elites, the Edom, these Edomites, man, they run all of this shit. And China is not doing anything that these elites are not allowing them to do. So don't think that it's because of the Chinese ingenuity and they're so smart and they're so dominant that they're able to be in this position. No, it's been given unto them by Esau, and that's why, like it says in Revelations, the 18th chapter, hey, when America is smoked, these nations are going to moan and weep and cry because they're no longer going to be able to export and import all of this goods, get all this money, and to be Mainly the only reason why China is a superpower is because of this Belt Road Initiative, because they have been given the ability to be this huge exporters by the West, by these elites. And that's why they're going to howl and weep and lament when this place is destroyed. This is Revelations 18:9. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her. And how these nations committed fornication with the whore, with America, is through the dollar, through financially, through these different trade deals and things of that nature, man. And this is why they're going to bewail her, because once America is smoked, all of those hundreds of thousands of tankers and ships and goods and TVs and couches and T-Mo shit, everything that the West, that China is producing, cars, Toyotas, all of this technology, computers. Once this place is destroyed, they're not going to have anybody else to ship and sell this shit to anymore. So therefore, they're going to bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, at last, that great city Babylon, which is America, that mighty city, for 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. See, because once this place is cut off, ain't nobody going to be buying that shit. All of that money, all of that business, all of that trade is going to be instantaneously shut off, man. You see? It says the merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all thine wood and all manners of vessels of ivory and all manners of vessels of most precious wood and of brass and of iron and of marble and cinnamon and odor. And this is, like I said, I know I'm speaking mostly about China, but you got a lot of these other countries as well. Bangladesh, India, a lot of them are being used to manufacture particular goods. A lot of American companies have, taken their business overseas to these third world countries to get, slave labor to make their products and then sell it back to the American people at a higher fucking price, man. So even these other nations that are not so, as, rich and, moving as much weight, so to speak, as China and these other top 10 countries, ports, hey, they're going to be affected too, because they're all going to lose out and they're all going to be hurt once this place finally falls. It says, and frankincense and wine and oil and a lot of these resources that are being named, a lot of them are not produced here in America. I know, for instance, frankincense, it's not produced here in America. It comes from, outside of the country. I know a lot of oil. Now, America has oil, but the majority of its oil is being imported. Why do you think they're trying to get up in Venezuela right now so heavy, It says, and beasts and sheep and horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men, you see, and the fruits that the fruits that soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants of these things which were made rich by her, like I said, all of these countries, mainly China, is being made rich ultimately by America, and it's consumerism and the green and the rites of passage that these elites have presented unto China. You see, and the merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fear of her torments, weeping and wailing, and saying, at last, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, for in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, because the nuclear missiles are going to totally obliterate this place. And China is going to stand off and watch, and they're going to be weeping and crying because the gravy train has been destroyed, man. You see? It says, and every shipmaster and all company in ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, at last, that great city wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea, by reason of her costliness, for in 1 hour is she made desolate. You see? And you can see how these countries are going to be weeping and wailing once this place is ultimately destroyed, man. Especially Asia, especially these Asian nations, man, because they always had an affinity and they always had a lust to be linked with Esau and with Babylon the Great. And this is 2 Ezra 15 and 46. And thou, Asia, thou art partaker of the hope of Babylon. You see? and are the glory of her persons. Woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her. And we see that, after the British went into China, after they went in there, the opium, the East India Trading Company, they put away their ancient garb. They cut off their ponytails. They took off the kimonos and they put on suits and ties, man. Now, the international language over there to be a pilot in China is English, man. Like I say, even when you go to China, they'll have basically you have the Chinese language on street signs and on freeways, but then you'll have English right under it, man. You see? And now, Moab think that he's about to take everything that he's gotten from Esau and establish himself as the next superpower. But he's not, man. You're going to be destroyed and judged just like Babylon is, man. Hey, when Babylon goes down, you're going to go down. It says, and has decked thy daughters in whoredom, that thou might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. And these nations have committed whoredom with America. Like I said, getting involved in this dollar, some of its foreign policy, You have Z come to America. These American diplomats and presidents go over there to China. They're doing all this business, all this trade, yada, 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 And now even the fact that China was allowed to have the Olympics there. Who the hell you think gave the green light and gave them the ability to host the Olympics and to make all of that money and build stadiums and all that extra shit, man? You see? It says, thou hast followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions. Therefore saith the Most High, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death. And, this is ultimately what's going to happen when this place is destroyed. All of that lust, all of that alliances you had, all of these deals, financial deals, all of this importing, exporting, it's all going to cease pretty soon, man. And the Lord is going to judge you just like he's going to judge Babylon, man. It says, and the glory of thy power shall be dried up as a flower. The heat shall arise that is sent over thee. And thou shalt be weakened as a poor woman with stripes, and as one chastised with wounds, so that the mighty and lovers shall not be able to receive thee. Right. The Lord's going, he's going to weaken you, mainly when this dollar is destroyed. You see? And you're going to be weakened. You're going to be hurt. You're not going to, BRICS and Russia's not going to be able to save you, man. Hey, and the judgment of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is going to proceed forth. Would I with jealousy have so proceeded against thee, saith the Lord? If thou hadst not always slain my chosen, exalting the stroke of thine hands, and saying over their dead when thou was drunken, set forth the beauty of thy countenance. The reward of thy whoredom shall be in thy bosom, therefore shalt thou receive recompense. Right, because these Moabites and Ammonites, man, they come here to America and they think they're better than Jake. They allowed to set up businesses in our neighborhoods. They get these loans, these secret loans, to where they can constantly, be over us. Send their daughters and sons to college, live in middle class neighborhoods. They come here with this arrogance and this pride over Jake. And it's mainly because of that whoredom and you selling yourself out to this, laying down with this whore, Esau, Edom, man. You see, but hey, it's all going to end bad for you. The judgment is going to fall down upon you, man. It says, like as thou hast done unto my chosen, saith the Lord, even so shall the Most High do unto thee, and shall deliver thee into mischief. Thy children shall die of hunger, and thy shall fall through the sword. Thy city shall be broken down, and all thine shall perish with the sword in the field. And they that be in the mountains shall die of hunger, and eat their own flesh, and drink their own blood, for very hunger of bread and thirst of water. Thou as unhappy shall come through the sea, and receive plagues again. You see? And in the passage they shall rush on the idol city, and shall destroy some portions of thy land, and consume part of thy glory, and shall return to Babylon that was destroyed. And thou shalt be cast down by them as stubble, and they shall be unto thee as unto fire. Right? Because ultimately this third world war is going to kick off. And you, Moab and Ammon join sides with Russia, the Chinese joining with Russia, is going to eventually lead you, into this third world war, where you're going to be judged, where you're going to be fighting against Babylon until Yahweh Shai returns and destroys you all. It says, and they shall consume thee in thy cities, thy land and thy mountains, all thy woods and thy fruitful trees shall they burn up with fire. The children shall they carry away captive, and look, what thou hast, they shall spoil it and mar the beauty of thy face. All right, so hey man, we can see prophecy alive and well. We can see these nations that are going to be well and be saddened and fall when Babylon the Great fall, man. So with that, Lord willing, this was edifying. All praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, for putting the spirit in me to do this lesson. Lord willing, you were edified. Shalom.